Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day. And above all else, that you're indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Ladies and gentlemen, Kensha Shire and I are back with album anniversaries. We're looking at albums that are celebrating their 50th anniversaries for the month of March. This is part two of these episodes. In part one, we looked at albums celebrating their 60th and 50th anniversaries. We're moving on to just 50th anniversaries for this episode. We got four albums to talk about. But before we launch into the albums, Ken, how the hell are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, you betcha. Uh, Winter's almost over. I woke up to a blistering 61 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Envious
uh,
a little.
yeah. Moving on.
Moving.
We're diving back into a deep freeze this coming week. So
There you go.
yeah,
I think
there
I have a
you go.
little bit of a dive next weekend, but also this week, Armando, you're probably going to miss out. But this Tuesday is Mardi Gras,
I'll deal with it.
so get your beads out and eat your king cake.
I'll do my best. I'll deal with it as
There
soon as
you go.
I'll just start drinking again. Okay, no big deal. Mm, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have four albums again to talk about that are celebrating their 50th anniversaries. And this is quite the list.
Yes.
I've got three out of the four albums on this list. Three of them on vinyl. Deal with it. All right, and CD actually. Okay. Coming up first, we have Santana with their album Amigos, released March 26, 1976, for Columbia Records, produced by David Rubinson. Fantastic album featuring the hit single Europa, which is the very first song I heard from Santana, with a whopping playing time of 41 minutes and 14 seconds. I will give my opinion at the very end. And
Okay, Amigos. Yeah, Europa is such an iconic song. And actually, I've never owned this album before. Um, and this, you know, listening to it again after several decades, this is the only song that stands out for me on this. However, um, this is arguably, when this came out in 76, arguably more commercially successful than the two albums that came before this, where he was diving more into the jazz element and forms.
yeah,
Um, but this album has what you'd expect from Santana, that if it wasn't there, you would miss it, which is um, all the layered percussions and the Latin influences in these songs. You know, you're going to have those congas, you're going to have all that Latin percussion and everything, and that's part of what makes Santana really stand out.
yeah,
And that classic um, um, Gibson distorted guitar sound that he plays is the very distinct sound that is just so iconic. However, for me, what dates this album in a lot of the songs is the use of synthesizers.
Sense for short. Go on.
Yeah. Um, it just the way that they're used in the voicings, it just kind of reeks of um, mid to late 70s, early 80s. Um, to me, it doesn't feel more contemporary. So to me, it does. The use of the electronics and the synths does
Sense.
date it for me, unfortunately. Greg Walker's vocals are very serviceable. He does a good job, but his voice is not particularly outstanding for me. Um, like I say, it's serviceable. It works in this context. Um, but considering there aren't a lot of vocals on this album, that's okay because I like me some good instrumental rock,
Hmm.
um, uh, which you very rarely hear in this day and age, unless you're listening to specific artists and or diving um, into the prog genre. But yeah, it's a good album. Um, the opening song, "Dance Sister Dance," is very um, typical of what you're going to hear on the rest of the album. So it's a good opener in that way.
Hmm.
And then it does go into the second song, which is really quite heavy. It was heavier than what I was expecting. Great organ work. It's rhythmically complex. A little bit of a throwback to the previous two albums with the jazz forms and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But what really hit me about it is right around the 2 minute and 35-second mark, the mood shifts. And this really gave the song a whole new dimension that I really did enjoy. So, yeah, there's some good stuff on this. Um, the Gitano track Gitano,
Hmm.
really nice acoustic guitar work, beautiful piano work on this too.
Yeah.
But it is a bit repetitive. Um, I don't remember how long the track is, but it could have been shaved a little bit. Got some really nice, smooth jazz with the song "Tell Me, Are You Tired?" With some, again, very strong keyboard work on this that I really appreciate. And then, yeah, and Europa, I'm kind of glad they saved Europa for the end of the album because it gives it a really good, satisfying, end of the second side,
Hmm.
even though it's not the absolutely last song in the album. So Santana Amigos as an album is probably about a three and a half out of five for me,
Hmm.
as far as Santana albums go. Several
Yeah.
of the others I hold a little bit in higher regard,
Yeah.
but a solid album, but not an outstanding one.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. Well, this album from I've known of this album since I was six. Uh,
For the
uh
20th anniversary.
Actually, no, I should say five because I wasn't six yet. Just a little side note: we were at a friend's place. Our family were at a friend's place for dinner, and my sister brought me into the living room, sat me on the couch, and the daughter was playing an album on the stereo, and this album was playing, and well, you know, the song Europa was playing, and we asked her, like, my sister Anna asked her, like, what album is, who is this? And the girl said, no, Carmela said Santana. I'm like, okay. So my sister would bought the album a few weeks later, and I've always loved Europa. It's
Yeah,
it's my favorite uh track on the album. And what I like about his playing on this track especially is the way that Santana can hold and like sustain a note and bend the note to his will, like however way he wants to play it, and just that really thick, recognizable guitar sound and
yep,
tone that he's got on this. And there's so many moods and shifts in this one track, but I gotta say that this is the one track that does sort of stand out to me on the album.
yeah, it
Um,
does.
Yeah, and I agree with everything that you said. I mean, copy and paste what Ken said about this album. It's a good album. I mean, obviously at this point, he had done the album with John McLaughlin. He had done the album Welcome. Um, he's moving into a spiritual jazz fusion phase with John McLaughlin. Greg Raleigh is long gone. He's in Journey, and so is
Yeah,
Neil Sean at this point after Caravaranza or whatever, Cavaranza. from 72 into 73. I agree with your assessment. Fantastic album. Three out of five for me if I was to give it a rating.
Yeah,
But Europa for me is a standout
it is.
track.
It
And I'm
really is.
surprised it's only 5 minutes and 6 seconds in terms of the playing time. I thought it was
Yeah,
longer. I thought it was at least 7 minutes.
I know.
But just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of instrumental music.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I cry when I hear this song. I break out. I start bawling. I start
Yeah,
bawling.
yeah, his guitar work on that song, um, it's very emotional.
Yeah, yeah,
You
very
know,
much.
you hear people talking about making the guitar cry. Oh yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah, yeah,
He's almost like a Latin David Gilmour on this song.
yeah. That's a good way to describe. Oh my God.
Sustained
Ooh.
notes with all those bends and stuff. Oh yeah,
Oh, oh, oh.
he's crying that guitar.
I'm getting chills. But it's just a
And this is part of my favorite kind of guitar work. Um, you know, Van Halen shredding, yeah, that's hard to do, but it's just not as melodic to me as things like this are.
yeah. I
You know,
get it.
it's not how fast you play, but it's with how much passion you play.
Yeah, and we're not knocking Eddie Van Halen.
Not at all.
Just just
Hmm.
I don't want to get hate messages in the comments,
Yeah,
but
you sold a lot more albums than I have, so there you go.
exactly, exactly. No, but yeah, I kind of feel that, just moving on from Amigos, but I kind of feel that Amigos kind of gets overlooked in the in Santana canon.
Yeah, as far as
Um,
albums, yeah,
but I think people should listen to it more and give it more love, more respect.
sure.
And
Yeah,
Europa
and
leads the charge.
yeah, and in listening to it after a long time, um, it's it's a more solid album than I remember it being. Probably because I was so focused on Europa and a lot of other um, uh, bands and genres at the time. So yeah,
Yeah,
two thumbs up.
two thumbs way up,
Yep.
definitely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to our second album of four. We're looking at, sorry, Boz Scaggs, Silk Degrees, released in March of 76, recorded from September to October of 75. Short time for recording with a total playing time of 41 minutes and 32 seconds, 10 tracks in total. Produced by Joe Wissert for release for Columbia Records, our second Columbia release on this list. Ken, you have you?
Oh, sophomore year of high school.
Oh God.
You know, I don't remember, but I suspect that my first copy or when I bought this when it came out was probably on 8-track tape. Um, chances are. Yeah, Silk Degrees is was one of those albums that, along with Frampton Comes Alive
Yeah,
and Fleetwood Mac Rumors, you know, it's like once you hit a certain age in '76, you were automatically, you know, given this album. It
rites
was
of
just
passage.
rites of passage, baby. Um,
Yeah,
it. I'm not going to say that the album is dated. Some of the production is dated, but this is one of those time machine albums. You know, I listened to this thing so much at the time. It just really takes me back. I can't look at it objectively because you know it infused itself into my DNA at the time. Um, there are how many tracks are there? Nine, I
10,
think. 10,
10.
10 tracks. Out of the 10 tracks, there are 8 of them that are standouts for me. You know, it is such a solid album. Listening to it, like I said, it has the aesthetics, the recording aesthetics of the time. It does have that um, production aspect of disco at the time with the arrangements, the way the strings are arranged, with uh, the electric piano, um, but it's not disco. And even with the song "Low Down" that has the slapping, the popping bass, and all that,
Yeah.
um, you know, it's still not disco, but you can still dance to it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, soaring songs like Georgia, the ballads on here, Harbor Lights, We're All Alone. Whoa,
Ooh.
whoa, yeah. you know,
Oh.
Skaggs's voice is just unbelievable, and
Mm,
it's a shame that he didn't break through before this, because I remember on one of his earlier albums, I think the song is titled "Brother, Can You Spare a Dime," which is kind of a blues standard, for want of a better term.
yeah.
And he's got that white soul, that blue-eyed soul down pat.
Yeah. Yeah. Philly soul.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and the hits, what can I say? Low Down, Lido Shuffle, and Armando.
Oh my God.
Who's the background band on this album?
Toto.
Toto. Toto,
Yes,
or at
Toto.
least the members before
The
Toto.
members of Toto that would become Toto. Yes. David Page is co-writer on this quite a few of the songs on the album. Uh, yeah. My take. Ooh, sweet Jesus. I need a cigarette. Blue Eyed Philly Soul, done with such a suave and sophisticated, in a suave and sophisticated way. I mean, what can I say? Georgia, Jump Street, What Do You Want the Girl to Do? Alan Tucson on that. My God,
Yep.
Harbor Lights, Low Down. My God. And, Lido Shuffle. And if you notice, David Page is co-writer on those tracks that stand out. I I do remember getting a compilation, a track that was listed as the title was, favorite 25 songs in the last 25 years, whatever, like top 100 songs in the last 25
Mhm.
years, whatever. And on that A track were Engelbert Humperdinck, After the Lovin', a Tom Jones track, Diana Ross with, Touch Me in the Morning, Burton Cummings with I'm Scared, and and Boss Gags with Little Shuffle. No, 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 sorry. We're All Alone. He was on that. And by the
Yeah.
way, Bob's got the vinyl where I had the A track.
All right.
Yeah, it's still in the basement, the vinyl. I mean, but this album, oh my God, forget
It
about it. I
was
mean,
killer.
there is a suave and sophistication about this album that cannot be matched.
No.
And the fact that he wrote the lyrics for We're All Alone on the way to record them. They did the backing track and they had to lay down the vocals, and he wrote the lyrics in the cab on the way to the recording session.
Yeah.
Close the window, calm the light, and everything will be
Yeah.
all right. No need to worry now. Close your eyes on me and you can be
Yeah.
with me. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm done. I'm listening to this and tears are falling down my cheeks. This one track, it is so emotional.
Yeah.
It is so emotional and guttural. I mean,
Right.
it's just
Was it was it Melissa
beautiful.
Manchester that did a cover of this?
Rita Coolidge.
Rita Coolidge. Okay. Yeah, I think hers was a little more popular. Um, but I prefer his because of, man, what he does vocally on this song.
Hmm.
It's not just the words, it's what he does vocally directly takes what the words are, which are excellent, and takes them to another level. It feels very, very personal.
It is. It
It's
is.
just, it's gut wrenching,
It
and
is.
it's just an unbelievable way to end an album.
He has a connection with this one, with this. I mean, the album is killer. I mean, you know, with What Can I Say and Little Shuffle and It's Over. Even that one track, It's Over. Only under 3 minutes, 2 minutes
Yeah,
and 52
yeah,
seconds. But man, that song is powerful,
it is.
melodic, and kicks you right in the ass. But with We're All Alone, he takes it. I mean, it's his composition, but he takes it to a whole new level
Yes.
with his vocal delivery and his vocal range and the emotion
Mm-hmm.
in the song. You can almost feel that he's crying. He's on the verge of tears as he's pleading with this person.
Yeah,
Give me a chance. Just
yeah,
give us a chance. And it's like, my God, I feel like I'm eavesdropping on
yeah,
something when
yeah.
I hear this
But
song. So,
you're right about when you use the term sophistication.
yeah,
Because listening to this album, I feel like I should have in one hand a glass of sherry and a good cigar in the other hand,
yes,
and sitting in a winged back leather chair in front of a
yes, yes,
fireplace
yes.
in my library
In the
with all
East
my
Wing,
books.
yes, yes.
Yes, yeah, it's just,
And
man,
Downtown Abbey, yes. No, it's true. It's true. There is,
Downtown Abbey, yeah,
yeah,
it's
Downtown
just
Abbey.
it's yeah, it's lightning. It's one of those lightning in a bottle albums for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's a classic.
It is.
And it's still in print.
Ooh,
You can get these albums still on wherever you get your music. But we must move on. I think we've gushed over Boss
enough.
Skags enough. Um, Moving on to Stephen Stills with Illegal Stills, released in March of 76, recorded in 76, another release for Columbia Records, produced by Stephen Stills and Don Gayman. Don Gayman also would go on to work with John Cougar Mellencamp in the 80s, with a total playing time of 35 minutes and 25 seconds. Ken?
Okay, I'm going to do some more gushing here.
Okay.
Um,
Gush away.
I've gone on record many times. I am a large Stephen Stills fan. Now, I don't like all of his works. Um, Later on in life, his solo albums were very meh. Um, the only Crosby, Stills, Nash albums that I really like are the original and the next one with Neil Young, Deja Vu. But Stephen Stills, and a lot of people only know Stephen Stills from Crosby, Stills, Nash, and or Young. Um, but honestly, for me, if that if those iterations of Stephen Stills never existed, I would still love his work. He is um, in this day and age, he is an very underappreciated guitarist. For instance, if you look at the original Crosby, Stills, Nash album, if you read the jackets like we would sit there with the album jackets and read everything, you
Back
would
in the
realize
day.
he played 98 to 99% of the instruments on this album. He is a incredible multi-instrumentalist, and
Yeah.
is very good at all of them. You would not have any idea. They did bring in other musicians to help on Deja Vu just because, just to bring in some more sounds. So Stephen Stills is one of the ultimate feel goods for me. And his first three, maybe four solo albums are high up in my catalog, in my personal catalog.
Hmm.
Um, he and this album shows he writes in so many different styles, songs in so many different styles and genres. Um, Yet there is a singular thread that runs through them that does give them, the Stephen Stills stamp or
Yep.
whatever. He's real big into Latin music influences
Yep.
with um, multi percussions and whatever. This album specifically has very strong um, connections with his Manassas albums, in which um, he is not always the one to do the lead vocals. So
That's
there
right.
were other members of the bands that would do vocals, the lead
Well,
vocals too.
on this album, you had two members of the Turtles, that
Yes.
Mark Vorman,
Yep.
um, that were on, and what the other name escapes me
I
now.
don't remember.
Henry. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. My apologies.
Yeah, that's fine. So this has some of his several of his really strongest solo works. It opens up with "Buying Time," which is just a wonderful upbeat song, a real toe tapper. Um, uh, Shows off his both his compositional style and what he's able to do with the other instruments, but in particular with the organ in this. Just really carries the song on, and then goes into a blistering "Midnight in Paris." I use the example of the Crosby, Stills, and Nash if they didn't exist, because he still uses in his solo albums strong harmonies, vocal harmonies with the
Yeah.
use of background vocals.
Yeah.
So it's easy to see. And there were times in Crosby, Stills, Nash, and in various times over the years that he did some of his solo work, and it worked very well in the Crosby, Stills, Nash setting, because guess what? They do really good harmonies.
Yeah.
Um, One of the standouts for this is a song called "The Loner,"
Yeah.
which
Neil
was
Young.
written by Neil Young,
Sorry.
recorded originally by the Stills Young Band. And of course, Neil Young also recorded it on his own. To me, this is my favorite version. I
Yeah.
like all three versions, but this one is my favorite. I just think Stephen Still just really kicks it with this. "Closer to You," wonderful, just an incredible love song. There's only one song in this album that I would skip. So seven out of this whole album, seven songs are standouts to me at some level. Um, like I said, I love Stephen Stills, the first four albums,
Mhm.
albums one and two in particular, um, at the top of my list. Um, uh, like I said, to me, Stephen Stills is feel good music. If you haven't listened to any of his solo stuff, I recommend this album and the prior
Yep.
ones for it. Just a
Hmm.
fantastic, unappreciated artist.
Yeah. For me, I like this album more than I thought. This is the first time I actually heard this album. So the
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad. He does like he does favor the Latin, Spanish, uh lyrics, well, in his songs, like, No Me Digas, Um but it's a good album. The one song that does stand out for me is the track "The Loner," the Neil Young track, last track on side one.
yeah.
Um but I do need to sit with it some more,
Well,
because it's still brand new to me. Still brand
yeah.
new to me. But it is a good album. And it's still in print. There's another one that's still in print.
Well, yeah,
So
and I this is one of Neil Young, Stephen Stills, excuse me, is one of those artists that I'm such a large fan of, um, that it's difficult for me to be objective, but at the same time, like I said, later on his career, it's like, no, I bought the albums and I gave them a good, 3 or 4 plays. It's like, no,
I know,
but that's okay. You know, not
but that
everyone lives forever.
but that's just it. I mean, certain albums will catch you right away, and then you'll lose this sort of love for it over time. And there's some of it where you'll listen to it and it doesn't get you, but then you'll get into it later on. And
Yeah,
there are albums that just won't catch you at all.
yeah.
And you'd rather catch a cold than listen to the album again. So kind of a thing. I mean, I mean, yeah, no, I really do need to listen to this album a little more just to get into it. And yeah, he is. I think he's underestimated as a musician. The fact that he's a multi-instrumentalist and that he's able to come up with the stuff that he did on the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young albums, and the fact that he did a majority of the instrumentation on it, like the first album he did for Crosby, Stills and Nash, he did all of it, pretty much all of that, like the drums, bass, keyboards, piano,
Yeah.
and I don't really think anyone really knows that, and I think they should, you know. Um,
I think it was appreciated at the time, and probably more from within the industry,
yeah,
because he came out of the band Buffalo Springfield,
yeah,
which was very influential with other musicians, although not necessarily that commercially successful. Um,
I know.
yeah, Buffalo Springsteen was a band that
Springfield.
laid a lot of really good roots in the valley at the time.
Yeah.
Um, and the only other thing I have to say is, if someone listens to this, any of our viewers not familiar with Stephen Stills, if you like this, I especially recommend his first 2 solo albums, Stephen Stills and Stephen Stills 2. Not very imaginative in the naming, but it's all about the music.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Our last album to talk about in albums that bring their anniversaries for March, so bring their 50th anniversaries. We have a fantastic album here, George Benson with Reason. Release, yeah, ooh, again, another March release was 76, recorded from, get this, ladies and gentlemen, January 6th to 8th, 1976. Uh, that's how you do it, man. Get in and out like a bad date. All right. Um, Produced by Tommy LaPuma for Warner Brothers Records with a whopping playing time of 38 minutes and 42 seconds. 6 tracks in total. Ken, you have you?
Yeah, the title song alone, um, you know, it was all over the place,
Yeah.
and it was being played on stations, and you'd hear it where you wouldn't normally hear. First of all, it's an instrumental. Um, it's smooth jazz,
Oh,
and so therefore, it would be played um, in places where vocal music wouldn't be played. And this is the this is his album that really started breaking him um, into the pop star that he would become. Because before this, he was just a jazz guitarist.
yeah.
It's like, what? George can sing other than, scatting along with his guitar playing, which
Yeah. Yeah.
is excellent. The downside of that is later on in his career, there were people that would discover him later on. That's like, oh, he plays guitar. Oh, you don't know.
It's like, yeah,
Um,
you can't, yeah. I mean, you can't beat him. You can't win. It's like,
no,
like,
yeah,
yeah, I know. I get that.
yeah. But on this album, and there's not every song on this album is vocal. Um, I think Brazen is the perfect opener for
Oh,
this album.
oh,
It
oh.
catches you by the short hairs just right at the very beginning. And in this, I think
Mm,
it's got a great vocal sound. Although sometimes what he's doing vocally almost sounds like, um, uh, almost kind of sounds like he's copying Stevie Wonder's vocals a little bit in a few spots.
okay.
Doesn't really quite, blossom into his own. Maybe that was intentional. I don't know. But probably the big song, record of the year, Grammy Award for This Masquerade, a Leon Russell cover,
Yeah.
and covered by many other artists
Yeah.
also, and after this especially. Not one of my favorites. I don't dislike it, but it's not something that really grabbed me on this. But hey, heavy respect. I think my favorite song off of this is the song 6 to 4.
Oh, from Philip
Um,
Church. Okay. Bass player.
yeah, I don't know. It's just the way it strikes me. Another great um, non-original on this is Affirmation. Jose Feliciano,
Hmm.
um, excellent, excellent guitarist and artist and songwriter. Here we go. We're going to say this for the third time, third album. Nice Latin vibes on this.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's just a really amazing.
Yeah.
Um, the only track that's penned by Benson himself is "So This Is Love." It's okay. It doesn't grab me like the others do. The closing track, "Lady," it's okay. But to me, like I said, this album is dominated by the title track.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
oh man, it just sticks it. It's an earworm amongst earworms.
And it's that guitar figure, that little guitar
Yeah.
that he does. It's
And such a good groove.
very simple, not overly driven
Yeah.
in terms of the guitar tone, but it's just, whoo, it is smooth. Like, oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry.
It really is, and it kind of paves the way a little bit for pop light jazz,
Yeah.
smooth jazz,
Yeah.
which would which would split fans of the jazz genre for decades after that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you got the jazz purists that say, no, this isn't real jazz. You know, and others. And for me, it's like, look, if you like smooth jazz, that's great, because how many people discovered classic jazz based on this? I would say probably a lot. It did me. So more
I
power
would
to
agree.
you.
Yeah,
Good
I would
job,
agree.
George.
I would agree. Man, I have this on vinyl.
Mm.
I have this on vinyl. I bought whoo, oh, I need a cigarette. Like I really do. I mean, I need, and I don't smoke, but I mean, this to me is a good combination between jazz and sophistopop in terms of
Yeah,
sophisticated pop. Let's put it that way. Uh, Reason, a Bobby Womack track. Oh my God. Um, Picture it. It's a nice spring day. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. You gotta get stuff done around the house. You put this on. You got the window open. You got the warm spring breeze coming in. The smell of fresh cut lawns. Got the birds chirping, and then breezing comes in. Mm, that's it, man. That's what it is. Beautiful. It is a beautiful track. Just a wonderful way to start an album.
it is.
Uh, oh my God, I need a minute here. Like I said, it is that good. I mean, I first heard this song in the first grade um, in my class, because my teacher had a stack of albums that she'd put on, and one day she put this on, and this song starts, and I'm like, "What?" I'm 8 years old, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I'm loving it, and then I find out that there was a local daytime talk show in Toronto called the Joyce Davidson Show.
Okay,
They would use Breezin' as the intro music
good.
to the show. When I heard this in class, I said to my teacher, "This is a song from the Joyce Davidson." Like I remembered it. It was like, like you remember, like, points of reference, right?
Yeah,
Amazing, amazing. This masquerade, oh, come on. I mean, just a wonderful arrangement. In my opinion, a wonderful vocal on this.
yes,
Just very relaxed, very slick, very sort of laid back approach to the track. The Phil Upchurch track, 6-4. Come on. I mean,
yeah,
Affirmation, the Jose Feliciano track, 7 minutes and 1 second. Come on. So this is love. Okay, he may have run out of steam slightly at the end of the album, but you know what? I don't give a shit that it's front loaded.
sure,
This is just
sure,
a
sure.
good album. This is just a good album.
Yeah,
And this was a good bridge between jazz fusion, in my opinion, and pop,
yes.
R&B pop. This was the good bridge. This was the album that sort of you was the transition.
Hmm.
And you couldn't ask for a better album to do it for Hayes' career than this
Agreed.
album. The big hit was, the two singles were This Masquerade, cut down to a paltry 3 minutes and change from 8 minutes and 3 seconds. You bastards. I swear to God. Why not release it as a double single, double
Yeah,
A side single, part one and part two?
yeah,
Extend both parts to 4 minutes each and leave it as a two-part single, part one and
yeah,
part two.
yeah,
You got it. And Breezin' as a second single. Come on. I mean, this was an amazing album, and it's still in print, and you really need to get your hands on it. If you want an album to take you on a ride, on a journey, this is the album for you.
sure.
Like, honestly. Oh my God. Ooh, I need another cigarette after that. But I mean, it's a good, well-produced, well-arranged, just a well-crafted album. Um, you know, can albums go at 100 miles an hour and go and give you 100% all the way through? Those are very few and far between. Um, but you know what? This is still an album that should be in your collection.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Whew. We saved the best one for last, really.
Well, and the thing about it is um, people nowadays, unless they're my age and Armando's age, don't realize that in 1976, all these songs were played on the same station.
Yeah, yeah,
You would
yeah.
get George Benson 1 minute, and then you'd get Boz Scaggs the next, and then you get Donna Summer, and then you get Earth, Wind, and Fire.
And
There,
Santana, and yeah,
yeah, it was all on the same playlist, you know,
yeah,
and I appreciate the fact that radio stations, streaming stations, whatever, um, categorize uh, their specific format or genre to a specific. But back in the day, music was just music, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, I know. I know. It was really colorblind.
yeah,
There was no
yeah,
differentiation between or separating between this is R&B, this is funk,
hmm,
this is disco, this is you played what you wanted to, what you
yeah.
wanted to play. And
And the DJs program their own lists.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
No, I got you. I got you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Album celebrating the 50th anniversaries, part two. Album celebrating their 50th anniversaries for the month of March 1976. Please put down in the comments below your opinion of these albums. And please let us know. And yeah, we'd like to get a dialogue going on. We're not experts in music. We're just telling you what we like and what we think maybe you should hear. And all of these releases are still in print. So you're not going to have to fight to get them. Get them on Amazon, Discogs, stream them on YouTube, or better yet, visit your local record store and see what they can find for you. Because record stores need our love as well,
yes.
and our support.
And how old were you in
When
March
these
1976?
That's exactly it. How old were you when these albums came out? Okay. We keep talking about Ken being a certain age or certain vintage, as it were. I'm I was too young to be a vintage at that point in time, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, please, we like to
It's
get your
coming.
opinion
It's
on
coming,
this.
Armando. It's
Oh,
coming.
oh, it's coming. All right, guys. Please click like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content we got coming
Yes.
up. I've got a show coming up with Bill Schuster. He's coming back on the channel called
Yay.
Outlaws and Heroes, and we're going to be talking about. Bill's going to be giving us his take on his favorite country rock albums. That's coming up, and more show ideas coming up that we're working on, and we're going to get them to you as soon as possible. So please look after yourselves and one another, and we'll see you soon on the Music Den. Have a great day. Bye for now.